Hello and welcome to the third episode of FUT Champs Pack and Play. Here are the player picks that we got for the episode. So the first one, we got a Wanga Mituka, who looked rather OP indeed. And then our second pick, we were extremely pleased with at the time, as you're going to see in a sec, a wild Thomas Müller popping up. Our highest red pick of the year, 89 rated Thomas Müller. But you'll see why we were initially pleased as the video goes on, as he didn't turn out to be the most incredible player we've ever used, to say the least. This is the team we put together using those players. Again, we were pleased with the team on paper. I think we did pretty much as well as we could with the team that we constructed. It was probably easier having two Bundesliga players to use to put together the team. And this is a very, very special episode for you guys, because I managed to persuade the man himself, Murray, to do a joint podcast with me, the one that contributes so much towards these FUT Champs and weekend leagues, often carrying me really hard. So we're going to get to hear from him in a sec, as we did a little joint podcasty thing. But until that time, which is in a minute or so, I've just got to kill a bit of time with you until then, as I skip past the defender and bury of Wanga Mituka. Another issue I've had with these podcasts is I'm often recording them late while my lovely wife is trying to sleep. So I'm currently trying to keep the volume to a level that's doable for her. So I hope you can hear me well enough. As I bury near post of Szoboszlai, a lad that I didn't get the best out of, but Murray certainly did. And this goal of Eto'o in the last minute of one of the cagiest games I played ended up being quite crucial, as you'll see at the end of the episode, with the amount of wins that we managed to put together. So yeah, overall we had a really good weekend league. As I score this, really, really pleased. I don't know what the skill move's called. Please can you post in the comments what it was, where I flick it back over my head and then volley it into the bins. No idea what it's called. It's something flick over your head. And this finesse shot of Eto'o I was also really pleased with. And it is now that time for the joint podcast, so we'll head into that now. Okay, so Murray, you absolutely carried me this weekend league. I think you finished with 14 wins out of 18, and I only got 6 from 6 to make a miraculous gold one. Talking about the team and why it was so successful for you, we will look at the positives in a minute of the players you liked. Who were the negatives in the team for you?
I think the main one has got to be Müller. He was pretty bad. He's slow. He was not very agile. And yeah, he is a great player in real life, all about picking up the spaces in the pitch and being in the right place at the right time. Doesn't translate well to FIFA. So he was slow, not very good at passing, didn't really get into any good positions, and generally pretty naff.
I concur. Totally underwhelming. One of our highest red picks, and yet FIFA doesn't work like that. It works on stats like pace and dribbling, and Müller might have a bit of dribbling, but he certainly doesn't have any pace.
Exactly.
So yeah, he was horrific. How about players that you liked from our team?
There's the usual solid performers of Eto'o and Beckham were solid. Defence, I did enjoy. Fafana and Varane at the back are a very solid pairing. Goretzka in midfield helped out quite a bit defensively. Very all-round player, but yeah, put himself about and won the ball back quite a lot. But I think Szoboszlai, who I played at Cam, was probably one of my favourites. He just felt so clinical. Could pass and could shoot, was tall, dribbled pretty well, and put the ball in the back of the net quite a lot for me. So I think he was probably the standout player from this week. Although Wanga Mituka was also good fun with his 5-star skill. Yeah.
And his electric pace.
Electric pace.
I didn't get the best out of Szoboszlai as I wanted to get out of him. But the likes of Eto'o and Wanga Mituka carried me a bit. Speaking of electric pace, Murray, I know you're a big fan of cars. I wanted to talk to you briefly about electric cars. So maybe you could give us a bit of info about when they're likely to be enforced and what your opinions are of them.
So there's by 2030, a lot of European countries and a lot across the world are banning the sales of purely petrol or diesel cars. So basically, those are being phased out, and electric cars are currently the main way that they're going to be replaced. So there's a lot of electric cars all out there. You see Teslas and a lot of the old traditional car manufacturers like BMW and VW, etc., are all starting to make their own electric cars. So yeah, it's kind of, the shift is already happening. I think a lot of the car manufacturers are starting to lean towards electric because that's the way it's going.
Yeah, it's probably got to be done. I'm really going to miss the old gear stick. I know you introduced me to the Volkswagen Polo, and a gear like absolute butter, that car. I'm gonna miss using gears. The fun of driving for me is going to be robbed a bit from electric cars, but probably has to be done, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't quite beat them on emissions, especially if you're driving around in the city. You've got no pollution. The only pollution comes from the power plant, which are, if that can be changed to renewable energy, then they are almost zero emission. So but yeah, they're gonna miss out on driving engagement. Nothing like changing through the gears, and even it can make it, even a 1.2, 1.4 Polo can be fun with gears. Exactly. Slow electric cars is going to be very important.
Yeah, in my Polo, I backed myself off the line at some traffic lights against a lot of cars, but only for the first couple of seconds until the rest of the Ferrari's horsepower kicks in next to me.
Yeah, until they start to realise that you're actually trying to race them.
Then it's all over. Yeah. Well, thank you for this podcast, Murray.
Very welcome.
I hope listeners have found it interesting, and feel free to post in the comments if you have any suggestions for future topics, because we sort of wing this one a bit by talking about cars, which is something Murray knows a bit about. So let us know your suggestions, and thanks for listening. Cheers, Murray.
Cheers. Thank you.